is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help. South Florida, listen carefully. Asmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Asmani Garcia delivers results. Asmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. It is a hump day. It is Wednesday, April 16th. I hope you all are hanging in there, especially those of you in Dolphins Nation, which, of course, it's not a good place to be. It hasn't been a good place for us for decades, unfortunately. It's a place where we go to suffer a lot of misery, a lot of disappointment, a lot of dejection, a lot of terrible losses, brutal memories, really no great memories unless you're really, really old like I am. So it's rough, man. It's rough. Oh no, we're going to talk about obviously Chris Greer's press conference yesterday. I don't know if you can call that a press conference, to be quite honest. We'll pick up on some of the things off of the Jalen Ramsey fiasco. It's interesting. It really is. Now, I had a conversation with my wife yesterday, a sports conversation. She doesn't listen to the show. She follows sports, like she'll sit there and watch games with me at times, but she doesn't necessarily follow sports as she used to. When we first met, we've been together 37 years now. Okay. It'll be 38 in November. And we've been married 31. So we were together 6.5 years before we got married. So we've been together for a long time. We were together when we had season tickets for the Heat before I even got in the media, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but back then she used to follow sports a lot more. But then again, she wasn't a wife. She wasn't a mother, and her mom was much younger then. She's in her 80s now. Her life has completely changed. She's more motherly for more people. Those of you that are involved in families, what happens as you grow in responsibilities, and you know how it goes. So she can't be screwing around in the playpen with me all the time. So she doesn't keep up with sports. Now that I've set that table. So we had this conversation about, the press conference yesterday and my thoughts on the Dolphins. And she really hasn't heard my thoughts on the Dolphins. Like those of you that listen every day, there's some of you, of course, that heard it and you ran away like little bitches and all of that. As you all know, I've said for months now, I have no expectations. I think this is going to be a bad season, all of that. And then, of course, when I think they're going to win and they're doing great, I'm all right in some people's eyes. When I tell them that I think they're going to be bad, I'm a hater. I'm always a hater. The guy that rented 2 Airbnbs thinking, hey, man, if they can get their shit together, they got a team that, especially 2 years ago and then last year, you had a chance, but you needed a coach. And you didn't have a coach to get more out of mileage. Maybe not Super Bowl, but maybe even a playoff win or two. We didn't have it. We're done. That's the way I feel. So my wife goes to me, you can't do that. And I go, why? She goes, well, then people won't listen. They won't watch. They won't care. And I go, well, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just lie to you and tell you, oh, no, yeah, listen, if this and if that, and if we run into a leprechaun, and maybe if we find a 4-leaf clover, and you know what? Maybe we find the end of a rainbow. Yeah, we'll win a Super Bowl. Yay! Yay, the Ark to Truth. Yay, it's triumph for us. Come on, man. It's my paperweight when I went to Paris. I bought this for our 25th wedding anniversary. When I took my wife to Paris, this was one of the gifts that I have. And I have the Eiffel Tower back there that you guys have seen. Anyway, I've never been that person. But it's interesting how times have changed. Because years ago, when they drafted Ryan Tannehill, I said, that's not the guy. And I was proven right. And I was Mr. Negative about Ryan Tannehill right from the get-go. Never really believed in him, and I was right. They hired Joe Philbin. I knew 3 people in the Green Bay building, and I told everybody, this is a terrible hire from day one. From day one, I was never on board with Joe Philbin, and I was right on that. So here we are. Okay. I was a fan of Chris Greer, Marvin Allen, Reggie McKenzie. I thought this was a trio that can do something. But what do you want me to tell you? I know I'm wrong. It hasn't worked out, right? So am I supposed to blow smoke up your ass and tell you that, oh, well, no, no, I'm not going to do it just because I want you to come back and view. Well, this is what I told my wife. I go, if you're a real Dolphins fan, you deal with the reality. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about the mistakes or depressing moments. Doesn't mean we're not going to talk about the draft picks, or we're not going to do a pre or post game show. We're not going to talk about the damn team or whatever. Even if I know, that's why I'm a real fucking fan. That's what I told her yesterday. I go, that's why I'm a real fan, because I know it's going to be bad, but I'm still here. But I'm going to tell you it's going to be bad. I've told you the Ryan Tannehill story. Most people didn't even know that story. Only the people that listen to this show. I don't think I ever got to tell the story on QAM. But I told it after that I knew the guy Jeff Ireland hired on the side away from the team to scout Tannehill. And he was a friend of mine. And the guy told him he was a second rounder because he's a project. And I trusted that scout a lot more than Jeff Ireland. But what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to lie to you? Am I supposed to not say, what I know? And sometimes what I know will be the right story, but it may not have the right result. Maybe what I like doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I'm saying? And in this case, I liked all 3 guys. I thought collectively they're going to do, and they did bring in a lot of talent. They did a poor job of keeping the wrong guys and letting go of the wrong guys. If you really look at it, it might have been a different team if you kept the right guys and wrong. And we'll talk about all of that. I have so much to talk about with all of that. But it's funny how in years past, people could handle the negativity. Some of them hated it because, we always have those blind ass fans. Dude, they don't want to hear anything. They want to try to convince themselves, well, anything can happen on any given Sunday, and this and that, and maybe they have the greatest draft of all time, and we go out and win, and people don't think, I get it. We always have that fan that cannot deal with reality, and has to convince themselves otherwise. Why? Why do they do that? Why does the fan have to convince themselves that it's positive? Because they're so insecure that they're afraid that if they admit the team's going to suck, they may not follow. They may not have the same enthusiasm. They may not buy the shirt. They may not buy the hat at Caneswear. You know, use our code BIG010, get 10% off. I mean, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Or some of you jagoffs out there. Oh, no, yeah, I'm not going to listen to him. Yeah, no, he's just negative on the Dolphins. Well, what the hell you want me to be? You want me to be positive? No, I'll be positive. Some of you, like, I have Hateful Steve, okay, sending me Venmos constantly because he's panicking about the Panthers last night. And I've told them over and over, dude, stop panicking. They got a bunch of injured guys. They're resting them. They're not trying. They did this last year. All of that, you know. I'm the guy. I'm the positive guy. I'm the guy saying, dude, relax. So he sends me a Venmo again yesterday. And by the way, Hateful Steve, thank you so much. I love you, my brother. You support the shit out of our show. Thank you. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Great ways to support us. And he goes, not watching the Panthers until playoffs, hoping this is an intentional tank because they look like absolute dog shit, even though they had played well for a couple games. You know what I'm saying? Wow, they beat Toronto one game. If they don't care about these games, neither do I. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you're watching games that mean absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'll give you a little nugget. And the way I read the game last night, Tampa knows that we're in their fucking grill, in their shit, in their head so badly. This is a team that has a rich history and championships. They're so petty. They desperately need this for their psyche. That's the way I read that last night. So I'm not negative. I'm not positive. I'm just not a bullshitter. That's all. So if you need to go find the writer that needs to keep you interested because they're afraid of being brutally honest, you go ahead, man. You go find that writer or that radio host or that podcaster that will blow smoke up your ass. You can step into that echo chamber and you can hear what you want. But here you're going to hear what I think, what I believe, what my heart says. My heart says the Panthers have character, have balls, have guts, and they're just pacing themselves. And I think they're going to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning easy 4-2. Maybe even a 4-1. Okay? They're better. And when everybody's on the ice, if you tell me they're injured and they can't play a bunch of them, okay, then I'm worried. But I haven't heard that. It looks like they're all playing. Not worried. I'm not worried. So I'm positive about the Panthers, but I have plenty of reasons to be. What the hell do I have positives to be about the Dolphins? And if I'm sorry, if you're too emotionally unstable and weak-minded, and you need to go listen to somebody that's pro-Heat, pro-Dolphins, pro-Marlins, pro-Panthers, pro-whatever, pro-Canes, and that's the only thing you can hear is pro. You don't want to hear any questions. You don't want to hear any negativity, or you don't want to hear any predictions about it being bad. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. But the Dolphins are a shit show right now. I've been telling you they're a shit show for a while. I've been telling you people want off this ship. I've been telling you there are people in this building, that a lot of them, that are convinced that Mike McDaniel is not the guy. And dude, how much more proof do you need? As much as I like the guys in the front office, they were all just lies yesterday because they have no choice. Just like I told you, they don't trade it. They're not going to trade any of these people that they just signed. The Jalen Ramsey thing, you think there's anything mutual about this shit? There's nothing mutual. What was it? Gus 1388. You sent me that tweet from this guy who does a great job, by the way. But there's no way they were exploring and talking about this or anything like that. You don't cut somebody that's one of your best players. Plus, cutting them is counterproductive because you're trying to save your job and you're also going to lose $9 million of cap space. It's not something they were exploring. That doesn't sound counterproductive. So I don't know what's happened to our, society, how I guess some of these younger generations are gotten soft, and then it affects the older generations because my wife is tough as nails. And for her to say that comment, I was like, wow. Holy shit, you're so worried about and that's because she's around kids. She's around these weak-ass generations that we have. You teen and 20s and probably early 30s Dolphin fans that you're probably little soft bitches that you can't handle the truth. And, oh, my God. Oh, man, the season hasn't started and he thinks it's over. Oh, I can't listen to this because you're not a real fan. You're not strong enough as a fan to handle what it is. Great example. If you listen to the show all the time, what did I tell Ira? Dude, I wanted Butler gone. I want you to start rebuilding. I want to see what these young guys are all about. And tonight is awesome. We're going to find out. Are you guys made of anything? Because you failed this test just a couple of days ago. And this is great. We want to find out what kind of players they're drafting and developing. Are they drafting and developing dogs? Or are they developing some guys that are getting some points, but when push comes to shove, they just get shoved? Because that's what I saw the other night against Chicago. That's it. We want to find out what is what. I don't understand what goes on sometimes here and why people are so sensitive about all this stuff. Things are bad, folks. Things are bad for the Miami Heat. They're trending in the wrong direction. They're getting worse as a franchise. Okay? The Dolphins, they've been in the bottom. They still haven't figured out how to win. The Panthers, they're elite. They know how to do everything top to bottom. Inter Miami, they know how to spend money. They're not really a good organization. They just know how to spend money. It's a little easier in that league. All you have to do is buy a couple players that are good enough, and they'll carry your ass. It's not like the coaches are really making that much of a difference. There's a reason why you just filter them in and out. So one player is running the whole organization right now. So you're not really a great organization. You're just a couple of owners playing fantasy soccer. But hey, God bless them. At least they spend money. I just don't understand this whole thing that we can't handle the honesty of what it is. And now, after this press conference yesterday, I finally got some of you on board. By the way, I am in such, in the pocket of the front office people, how come I tell you the season's over? How come I tell you that they're all coaching for their jobs? You know what I mean? Then I would paint a rosy picture. And I don't paint a rosy picture. So a lot of mistakes have been made. And now they're in a terrible situation that they can't get out of. And they can't dig themselves out of this hole. The miracle that they need to dig themselves out of this hole. Come on, man. Come on. It's not realistic. It just isn't. By the way, my man Osmani Garcia, the Omega Realty Group, he's got that 30-day guarantee right now. So if you're here in South Florida, west coast of Florida, the Gold Coast, the Panhandle, anywhere in Florida, you can step up right now. You're looking to sell your home. Well, Osmani Garcia will sell your home in 30 days or less. where he'll buy it. So give him a ring, 305-440-1990. All right. See if your home qualifies. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. If you're actually serious about selling your home, you're looking to move out of state, out of the country. Maybe you have an extra home. Maybe you live somewhere else and your second home is in Florida. You know, whatever the reason is, we've had different reasons why people are calling Osmani. All right. He's got the 30-day sale guarantee. 305-440-1990, 30 days guaranteed, or he'll buy it. Call my guy. I've known him for over 15 years. Great dude, super honest. You're going to know everything up front, stand up as they get. Give him a ring, 305-440-1990, and tell him that Big O sent you. Promise you, Osmani Garcia will take care of you. All right, so we had a press conference yesterday from Chris Greer. And what a lot of you, and by the way, Charles Davis is going to join us at the top of the hour, okay, from the NFL Network. And Eric Galco, Director of Football Operations for the East-West Shrine Game and Optimum Scouting. I've had on Eric for, 15 years probably. Charles, obviously, 20 years. So we'll get them on. I promised you we'll have, what's the lineup? What do we have for the next couple of days? Let me give it to you. Charles Davis, Eric Galco today, Tony Pauline tomorrow, and then Benjamin Albright on Friday. Okay. So again, even though I don't have a lot of hope, I'll still give you some draft coverage. I'm not going to go crazy on it like I have in years past, because I'm just not excited. I'm sorry. I just don't feel it's worth it, to be quite honest. There's so much uncertainty. I don't know what the hell to, count on. But we had a press conference yesterday. And here's what you have to understand about that press conference. There was nothing that Chris Greer could have said to satisfy you, because there's nothing satisfactory. They're not winning. There's no foundation. There's no leadership now. They're in a transitory period. Congratulations to David Furones. He asked it about the soft reset or reset. And he said, no, we haven't talked about it. Of course, because they have to say that because they're trying to save their jobs. They can't say we're trying to reset now. The owner he doesn't really know football, but they got to know they're not in a really good position. They got to know they blew their load the last couple of years where they had the better teams and they failed. So there was nothing. That was a nervous man. That was a defeated man yesterday. If you didn't see a defeated Chris Greer yesterday, you don't know how to read the room. You don't know how to read body language. I felt bad for him. That's how bad when I was looking at that, I felt bad. The man was nervous. The man couldn't answer questions. I love how people, one of the things, like when they asked him about leaders, and he doesn't mention to us, so all of a sudden that's a slide onto it, but he mentions Tyreek. And then how can you mention Tyreek? Of course, because he's nervous. He's not even thinking after Sealer or whatever. It just, and it's hard to mention people that are unreliable. Tua for injury, Tyreek for everything else. You know what I'm saying? He had no answers. He was cornered. He could not pump his chest up, because last year when he tells you he's not worried and Mike are not worried about the offensive line, they're coming off an 11-win season. So there's something to pump your chest about. They had the 11-win season. At the end, they were so injury-riddled. They were picking up people that had Geritol in their damn locker rooms for that last game. So I get they had a reason to have a little cockiness. Yesterday, there was a man that had nothing. He has no rooks. He has no knights. Okay? Nothing. There are no bishops. There's no queen with the mobility to move around the board wherever she wants. He had nothing. He has an injury-prone quarterback that right now looks severely overpaid. He has a nutbag for a wide receiver that is as undisciplined as it gets. They had an opportunity to get off the crazy train, but just like Ozzy Osbourne, they stayed on it and guaranteed the money. I'm sorry, folks. It's written in the stars a million miles away. A message to the fans. Okay? Sorry. Seasons come and go, but nothing ever change. And I'm on my way. Okay? Sorry. And if you don't know Tinny Tempa, screw you. That's what you got yesterday. You got a defeated man. He's got a coach that can't get you anywhere. Can't lift all ships. There's no Spo there. There's no Paul Maurice there. I can't believe Spo, Coach Maurice. True apology here. I am sorry for even including you next to Mike McDaniel. He had nothing in that press conference. Let's be honest. You can complain, oh, I can't believe he said this. What did you expect him to say? Explaining the Jalen Ramsey thing makes no sense. Because there's no honesty. Because you're trying to save your job and you have to try to paint everything. And it's so obvious that it's bad. And I felt terrible for the man yesterday. It's like this is why Stephen Ross doesn't do interviews anymore, because it doesn't benefit him because he's got nothing. And yesterday, do you think he really wanted to do that press conference? Hell no, dude. He was defeated. That was painful. That was sad. Because there's nothing. Nothing. It doesn't matter, dude. It's that scene from History of the World Part 1 where Sid Caesar's there and he's in the streets. I've got nothing. I've got nothing for sale. That's Chris Greer was that dude in History of the World Part 1 in that scene. Right? I've got nothing for sale. What was he going to tell you that was going to make you feel better? That yesterday, what we had was a Mexican piñata day. Okay? I go back to when I was a kid. You youngins don't do this anymore, I'm sure. Maybe they do it still in Mexico or other places in Central and South America for kids. So you would come out, you were a kid, and then the birthday boy or girl, they'd give them a little bat, little stick, and then a burro, and it was full of candy. And then they'd blindfold and whack it until all the candy, and then all the kids were scrambling for all the candy. You just had a Mexican piñata press conference yesterday. Chris Greer, the Mexican piñata press conference. He knew he was going to be the sacrificial lamb because he went to a podium with no ammunition whatsoever. No true plan for the future, no true plan for the present, no true actual things that you can count on offense or defense or your coach. Nothing. He couldn't stand on a damn thing. That's what you saw yesterday. So to whatever you want to nitpick or what, it's like, are you surprised now at this point? Like, now you're figuring it out? The run is done. I keep telling you that. And for those of you, come back with me. How far are we? How far are we from starting the rebuild? Unless there's a miracle, there's at least 133 of you. Some of you have heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, how far are we from starting the rebuild? How many of you have learned? Please tell me. Please tell me. Let me see the chat board there. Huh? Let me see the chat board. There we go. Alexis Palenzuela. 3 years. This year's a wash. Next year, you have all the other salaries that you got to wash through. And you really can't even start anew till 3 years from now. And you still will have dead cap space. 3 years from now. So I'm sorry if I'm telling you that this season's going to suck, but I'm also telling you next season's going to suck. Am I going to be here? Yeah. Will I talk about it? Yeah. Do I love the team? Hells to the yeah. But if you can't handle the truth, bro, just get your ass out of here. If that's what you are, you're such a weak fan that you're so insecure that if you hear something negative, oh, I can't hear that. People are a trip. Absolute trip. All right. By the way, the great people at Toyota of Hollywood are proud sponsors of our program, and one of the reasons why we are on every single day. We thank the Zinn family, whether it is Toyota, whether it's Acura, whether it's Subaru, and right now the Tacoma double cab, $439 a month. The 5-door 4-wheel drive, you can take advantage of it. The #1 volume Toyota dealership right here in the Southeast United States. Come on down. 1841 North State Road 7, right on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. We've got 2,000 Toyotas in there, over 1,200 new Toyotas. And that's what you're going to like, man. You go get a Tundra, or a Camry or a hybrid, and there's a ton to select from. Not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. No, dude. How about 15, 25, 50, 75, 100? Yeah. So if you love that RAV4, which the RAV4 has grown up so much, or the Prius, whatever it is that you're looking for, the Supra, even the Supra, which is limited, you're going to get a much larger selection of Supra there than you will at most Toyota dealerships. So whatever type of Toyota vehicle you're looking for, if you own one or lease one, the service center is amazing, dude. It is ginormous, couches, TVs, restaurants. So while you're changing the oil, rotating the tires, getting new tires, whatever it is you need to do, okay, you can rest, relax, you can do some work while you're at it. All of that, man. So go check out my friends at Toyota of Hollywood. Herbie Lopez does an outstanding job. Man, you are going to love him. Pat Nasto is walking around at times. He's the guy with the big guns when you see him, okay? Toyota of Hollywood. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that. All right. Thank you. As always, where is Bitcoin, by the way? Are we moving down, up? 83,833. So hanging around that 84 area. So not to 82, but we've been like 83 to 85, kind of. That's kind of where we've been lately. Holding strong, considering everything. What's the orangutan doing? I think he's sending I think he's sending the stock market to or against China like 254% tariffs. Oh, that is crazy stuff. Yep, the Dow is down 195 points. The S&P is down almost 60, and the Nasdaq barely down. So there you go. Hang in there, folks. Hang in there. Rocky Road. What do we got here on the chat board? Let me see what we got. Dolphin Dave, I see, checks in first. Jeff in Long Island. NorCal says, it's crazy to me that 2 of the 3 players that got extensions they wanted are now crying, I want out. Seems so Mike Tannenbaum to me. Yeah, just get your money and run. It's all Steve Miller. Come on, take the money and run. Woo, woo, woo. Ty in the Bronx, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Says, morning, Big O and Sean. Thank you, Ty. Very nice of you. Thank you. Super chats, as always, we appreciate it. Although YouTube takes 30% on the super chats. That's why I always mention, sometimes people go, why do you always mention Cash App or Venmo and they have the super chat? I'm like, yo, dude, man, relax. Like, they take 30%. Venmo and Cash App take nothing. PayPal takes nothing. We get the whole donation. So it's better for the show. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I mention it. We have the super chat there because some people don't have Cash App or Venmo. Just like folks out of the country, they can't use Cash App or Venmo, I'm told. So PayPal becomes more easier for most folks. So we added PayPal. And we thank you, however it is. Remember, we are trying to go to Spain because I am honest. I've told you, even though I don't think this is going to be a good season at all, I think this is going to be a bad season, unfortunately. I think one game that's going to be fun and it's going to be special, I think, will be the Spain game. Because that's how it is. There's always a game or two that's going to be fun or something. And this one, if it is against the Bengals, I'll get up for it. It'll be fun. Plus the experience. Plus I'm Spanish. Plus our show has never done a week of radio and at a Dolphins bar out of the country. So you can help us for the first time go overseas. We are not even close to our first target. So we need a lot of help. So whatever donation you can make, use that QR code. We'll go out there. We'll do our show all week long, covering the events, break any news that's out there. We'll do our pre and post game show and do it from a Dolphins bar in Spain, which will be really cool. So I'm looking forward to that, and it does exist. So use that QR code and make whatever donation you can to get us there. Let's see. Ragin, I agree with Omar in that Greer's biggest weakness is that he has no conviction, appears wishy-washy. And is this? Well, it's that he appeasing the coaches thing. Yeah. All right. So I'll give you another thing. Here's another thing where the Miami Dolphins have failed. And it's not just a Chris Grier thing. It's a Shula all the way till now thing. I'm gonna keep hammering this point away, but in a different way now. I'm gonna wake you up. Remember how we talked about the lines and all that, how the Dolphins in the 70s, they dominated at the line of scrimmage, offense and defense, and that's why they won titles. That's why they were so dominant and so great. In the 80s, they never were dominant on both sides of the line. They've never been since then, right? Okay. So we've talked that. Sean's made rants of that and all that. To answer Chris Grier's question on deferring, and it is a mistake he's made, and I commend him. Again, he wasn't going to say anything that was going to help you. Maybe laying on the sword might help a little bit for him, for you, the honesty or whatever. But yeah, he has deferred too much. I get a feeling, by the way, he's one of the ones that didn't want to pay Tyreek. I'm just saying, because that to me sounds like something that is burning his ass at that moment. Shit, I didn't want to pay him and somebody convinced me to it. Okay? So, I want to walk you through a couple of examples. We have the Miami Heat in town. And the Miami Heat have been a franchise that has a culture in place. And it has allowed them to be very successful for a long time. Even in the last 10 years, since the Big Three, they are headed downhill, but they still at least had some success getting to some NBA finals, overachieving, whatever. That with the scrubs, they went 31-10. You know, they've done little things here and there with their team, but they have failed to be a real championship caliber type of franchise as of the last 10 years. Let's be honest. Okay, they're trying to overachieve and get there, but still the culture is in place. And it's carried them. Okay? Panthers now have developed theirs. Okay? And they're winning constantly now. They have been, this is what, the 6th year or 7th straight year. They're in the playoffs, I believe. And they've been to the finals 2 straight years. We'll see if they can get there 3 straight years, which would be, as you all know, I don't need to tell you, an incredible accomplishment. Okay. Simple. Those are layups. So let me ask you something. What has changed for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. Anything change? Oh, the coaches change. Some of the general managers change. How about the culture? Is it still toughness? Is it still at the heart of running the football? For Noll? For Cowher? For Tomlin? Oh, so they have something that they like to do. This is our identity. You will coach our identity. That way, when we draft players, they kind of fit everything that we do, no matter who we change. What a concept. Baltimore Ravens. Anything change? Early days of Baltimore Ravens with, what's his name, that they won the championship. Anyway, and then now with Harbaugh, anything change? Were they always physical? Did they want to run the ball? Sometimes not even the best quarterbacks in the world, right? Trent Dilfer. Even Lamar is a freak of a talent, but not the greatest passer in the world. You know what I mean? And then Joe Flacco actually was a really good passer, not an athlete, and got on a roll. And, you know, but the heart and soul of what the Ravens are, it doesn't matter who it is. The Green Bay Packers. Holy shit, dude. Doesn't matter if you're Ron Wolf. Doesn't matter if you're Mike Holmgren. Doesn't matter if you're LeFleur. Okay? It doesn't matter, God, what's the name of the white-haired GM that they had there for a long time that took over after Ron Wolf. Either way, linemen, offensive linemen, get D linemen, run the ball, quarterback. Dude, they're the only team. This is like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook. The Green Bay Packers are the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook. When I was growing up, everybody did what the Green Bay Packers did. You drafted a guy and you sat his ass down. Sometimes for half a year, some easily for a year or 2 or 3. And he learned and learned and learned and learned, and then you brought him out. Shit, dude. Doesn't matter who the fucking coaches are. Because different coaches have coached different quarterbacks, and yet they draft their guy, they sit his ass down, and it works out for them 3 straight times over 30 years. And yet nobody else does it. It's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He showed you a shot you cannot defend, and the rest of you assholes still don't learn it. And in the NFL, the rest of you assholes aren't doing it right. Maybe that's why Geno Smith slips through the cracks. Okay, maybe that's why Geno Smith slips through the cracks, because you didn't put him in an environment to win. You didn't give him the proper time to develop. And when he did develop, it was after several mistakes and down the line, like many other quarterbacks. We have no culture in place. We do not do things a certain way. Nope, we're going to be a pass-happy offense this year. No, we're going to be a run-oriented offense because we have no quarterback. We're going to be all defense. But it's, Marino will carry us. No defense. Shula started it, and it's gone on till now. And we have this uneven identity because there is no consistency. And so what I would tell the people at the Miami Dolphins and Stephen Ross is that develop who you are. And then that's it. This is who we are. We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're coming to interview for us? Okay, do you know who we are? You know how we like to play football. You know how this division is played. Okay, is this how you coach? Nah, I'm coming in to put the run and shoot. And I am one of those guys that really likes 210-pound linebackers, and I like to blitz a lot. I like to use speed. Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. You can't work here in Pittsburgh and in Baltimore. Culture, consistency, identity. It helps these teams. It helps our local franchises. No. This is who we are. We're not going to, on a whim, change what we are, and then we're going back to this and back to that. Why? Because then all of a sudden, this is where Chris Greer has to say, hey, Brian, how you doing? Great. I wanted to call this meeting in, and Mink, I know you guys have unfortunately, haven't been seen eye to eye and all that. But listen, Flo, I really want you to succeed. And Minka, I drafted you. I love you as a player. And in the end, hey, you two assholes need to get along because we need to win. So just because you don't like him or he doesn't like you, you guys need to find a way to respect each other and find a way to win because you're not going anywhere. Okay? I'm not here to give up good players, and I'm not here to appease a coach that wants to give up on every player he can get along with. So find a goddamn way to get along and get on the field. And that's it. But he didn't do that, clearly, because Minka shouldn't have gone anywhere. And so on and so forth and whatever. And did Shula like Clayton and Duper? No. No, dude. But he tolerated them as long as they continue to do their thing and they win. Do you think he enjoyed that Keith Jackson did not practice? This isn't the 2000s. This is the 80s. Okay? This is Don freaking Shula. But you know what happened on Sundays? Everything you threw to Keith Jackson, he caught. So the old man was at least flexible to a certain extent. Because if you produce for him, he found a way to tolerate you. But he wasn't going to just give up on good players. And that's what goes on here now, all of a sudden. Oh, I don't like what you're doing. Oh, no, I don't like you. Okay, that's it. We're done. No, bro. That's not how it goes. The 70s Knicks, their slogan was 12 guys, 12 cabs. At the end of the game, they weren't hanging out with each other. They had very few things in common, except when they got on the basketball court. You know that word we love to use here on this show, compartmentalize? That's life, baby. You're not going to get along with all your coworkers. Doesn't mean they're not good coworkers. Like, you may not like their personalities, their opinions, their beliefs, but the person does a hell of a job doing their job. So find a way to get it done. Don't deal with whatever opinions. Just deal with work. Work is really productive, then move on. We have this society, that just does not find a way to get things done. And in these kind of situations, you got to find a way to get things done, dude, and get along with people, at least professionally. Anyway. Let's see. The Heat are stuck in that old Atlanta Hawks territory of mediocrity. They have to see what they get from Bam or Hero. Do not trade Ware. The potential with him is crazy. Yes, I agree. But you got to do something here tonight. George Metellus, Brian Billick. Yes, that's it. Thank you. Thank you, George. Appreciate you. Ragin says, we have a culture that had no idea what it's doing. The other teams are run by football people. Ross is a great businessman and develops properties and events, but he isn't a football guy. Yeah. But Mickey Harrison isn't a basketball guy, but he went and hired the right basketball person. And then the rest is history. So that helps. You don't have to be a sports person. You have to be a smart business person and say, okay, I need to go find the best people. And then, so, okay, let me find somebody that I know that is the best at that, and then let them do that because I'm not that person. And that's the key. Unfortunately, the man hasn't been able to do it. Let's see. Skyler, who's responsible for Ross's bad moves back then? And better yet, why wouldn't those same people be influencing Ross still? They're probably still influencing Ross. Whoever he talks to. What else? Oh, what is your favorite cheese? Oh, dude, I'm not even a cheese guy. I don't even eat cold cheese or anything. I only eat cheese with pizza. I'll eat a cheeseburger, but it's not what I prefer. I always prefer a hamburger. I'll eat some cheese with my pasta, but I'm actually not a cheese person at all. It's not something I ever crave, dude. It's weird, but yeah. I'm a little off on that one from some of you normal people. Just not, cheese does nothing for me. KC mad up. The players are jumping ship because they know the Dolphins are pathetic with a joke of a GM and a head coach. That's what we're getting. Jake from Pallettown, is Ramsey trade really set in stone? Serious question, because looking at the cap space and CB needs there's only like 3 teams I'm coming up with that makes sense. Even like that, it's a stretch. Again, this is something that they're going to try to accommodate. Will they be able to? We'll see. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and you just can't give them away to put yourself in an even worse position just to accommodate him. That's why I would have told Ramsey, dude, I gave you the money. Screw you. Get your ass out there on the field. Get your ass out of my face. But the problem is they gave away too much money. And there's just a really soft approach to everything. And they took advantage of it. That's all. The Great Fear says, Big O, long time since I've joined live, but watching all the recordings when I get home. Dolphins already defeated. Funny, yet sad and true. It's true. Do I want them to lose? No, but what am I going to do, man? Come on. Jamie Zorria is in the house, reminding everybody to smash the like button, please, man. Got 155 watching right now, only 49 likes. You guys can easily get it over 100 right that dar there. Just hit that like button right now. Right now. Right now. So. Trina Mills, Miami Dolphins never make a Super Bowl, not with what you got. To get rid of that, you make a Super Bowl. Super Bowl. Not with Tua. You got to get rid of that. No, that Trina, I get it. Most of you are programmed with that silliness, and forgive me, but that's just flat out stupid shit. Okay? You could easily win a Super Bowl with Tua, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl like this. You got to have an offensive line that can block. So that way he doesn't think about running, doesn't think about tackling anybody, doesn't think about overdoing things because he's got so much incompetence with a coach that can't get the play in. It's really simple. It's back to philosophy. Again, Trina and many of you out there, you need to learn football, okay? When you get a team like the Ravens, you don't get Tua on that team because you're asking the quarterback to run. Okay, when you have a Tua, what you do is what you do with a Tom Brady. What you do is with a Peyton Manning and a Drew Brees. You build the line of Montezuma in front of him. You block for him. You can run the ball very responsibly or dominant. And then you have a dominant defense. You do that, then the quarterback does everything else. Does Tom Brady make up for a defense? No. Does he make up for your offensive line? No. Just like Pat Mahomes can move, Tom Brady can't. Pat Mahomes can move, Peyton Manning can't. And he still can't overcome a bad offensive line. The 2 Super Bowls he lost, Trina, the last year with Tyreek and this year, common denominator, offensive line. He had no offensive line. He got his ass kicked. There's too many of you that aren't very smart when it comes to football, and you think that the quarterback does everything. Like, really, how freaking stupid can you be? Trina, Bob Greasy won a Super Bowl throwing 6 times. There's too many of you that don't know a goddamn thing about football, and you watch it. So you have to understand what player you have. Okay, this is the kind of player I have. Okay, I have Lamar Jackson. Let me put him in a pass-oriented offense because he's so deadly accurate. No, I'm going to put him in a run-oriented offense because he's not accurate, and I got to hope that on those days he can hit a few passes, and we're good. Because when we get to the playoffs, oh, my God, he needs Pampers because they stopped the run and they put him to pass. Trina. Too many of you don't understand football. So when Nick Saban, Trina, is sitting there at halftime, Trina, and says, I got to win the national championship. And Jalen, you suck right now. I need a real passer, Trina. So we go to Tua, Trina, and he wins it. Trina. Oh, wait a minute. Alabama, they can block. Oh, they can run. Oh, they can play defense. Oh, so Tua only has to pass. What quarterbacks do? No problem. Does he have that here where they can run, they can block, they can play defense? Trina. Thank you. Our number 2 is next. Charles Davis from the NFL Network joins us.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. One of my favorite people in the business, and I've known him for about, 20 years doing his thing. Charles Davis from the NFL Network, getting ready to talk a little NFL draft, a little Dolphins. Charles, how are you doing, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Big O. I'm doing okay. I trust you're doing great.
Yes. I'm completing my 5th year on the platform all by our lonesome. So being able to, stand on your own and travel and all that, I'm blessed, man. I'm truly, truly, truly blessed.
You've earned it.
Thank you, my brother. I was just talking a little basic football, and I think one of the things that frustrates fans and frustrates, I think, you and me at times, I know you need a quarterback, but sometimes we unrealistically put everything like the quarterback does it all.
Yeah.
And like I explained, like you got to know who your player is and then say, okay, I got to build this kind of offense. Like the guy we have here in Tua, I think you can win the biggest game that exists in the Super Bowl. Yep. But he has to come from a place where he came from, like Alabama, where they have a line, where they can run. Like when you have statues, and I hate to say it, but when you have guys like Tua or Brady or Breeze or Greasy, for God's sake, in a Super Bowl, he threw 6 times to win. You know what I mean? When you have a guy that is not really an athlete, but he's a passer, give him a line, give him a running game, then he can do his thing, have a defense, have balance. Once you have balance, a passer can survive. But if you're going to have imbalance, then you're going to need an athlete like Josh Allen, like Jalen Hurts, like Lamar Jackson, because they will overcome their deficiencies as passers with their legs. Okay, but that's part of your scheme. And I think that's where we have a disconnect with the fans, with the philosophy, with the things going on in Miami, where, okay, you're going to have this kind of quarterback. Well, you need to go back to where you came from in the 70s. Build the lines. Dominate the lines. Look at Mahomes. He can move. And he got his ass kicked this year by Philadelphia. And the last year that Tyreek was there also. Why? The line did not support Mahomes. So can we talk a little bit about how we get drowned out with the quarterback and the philosophy?
Yeah, I think that you've spelled it out very, very well. I think that goes across the board. All 32 teams know who you have, know what you're trying to accomplish, know what you have to build to get to. Can a mobile quarterback get you out of things at times? Yes, but it's not a recipe for extended and sustained success. You spelled it out quite well. Mahomes isn't the fastest guy you've ever seen in your life. He's really around a 4.7 40 guy, right? But he's a very smart runner, understands when to take off, what situations, when it's open, and he's a very determined runner. He understands where he has to get to pick up the first down. He gets all of that. He's very intelligent in how he plays. He's ascended to that apex quarterback level in all aspects. But I don't care how good of a runner you are. Lamar Jackson would not have survived that Super Bowl, okay? When those lines overwhelm you and they trap you back there or they keep you under duress, you can run around as much as you want to. You can try and extend and make a play. It's just not there. The difference in the 2 Super Bowls for me with Mahomes, the one against Tampa where they destroyed him as well, he was heroic in his play in that game. I mean, he played as well as he possibly could have played. There were some balls thrown that could have been caught that we still don't know how he even threw it. The one where he's parallel to the ground and he's slinging the ball. He didn't play well in this last one, in addition to the line failing him. So you put it together, it's a bad day all the way around. But here's my thing about it. The most mobile quarterbacks out there oftentimes are the most sacked quarterbacks, especially when they're younger, because they always feel like they can get out of it. They can extend the play longer. I can make them, I'm down. Heck, next time. Caleb Williams has found that out quickly. He found that out quickly as a rookie. 68 sacks. They weren't all on the offensive line. There's plenty of times we held the ball too long. We're evaluating quarterbacks coming out this year. Cam Ward's a runaround guy. Okay, he will learn in the NFL. You got to speed up your clock. Shedeur Sanders isn't a runaround guy, but he took a lot of sacks at Colorado. Offensive line wasn't great, but there's still some of that goes on.
All right, Charles, you gotta walk me through this because I'm really struggling with this, and maybe it's the old school guy in me. And let me tell you, what I'm about to tell you is blasphemous here in South Florida. I think Shedeur's the better passer. I love Cam Ward. I love his moxie. His talent is undeniable. He can make any throw he wants in the NFL. He's more gifted by the Lord than Shedeur is. There's no doubt in my mind. None whatsoever. But when I look at accuracy, anticipatory skills, and all of that, I see Shedeur. And when I watch Cam here, he had 9-10 seconds to throw the ball. He could smoke a cigar with a 1-inch ash and just chill out and find somebody. He took risky throws at times that in the NFL, he got burned in college. In the NFL, he's going to get roasted. There wasn't as much 3, 5, and 7-step drop, plant, throw on time in that offense. Whereas Shedeur, I saw tons of that. I know he can throw on time and all that stuff. So I almost feel like he's a better transition to the NFL. I know that everybody talks about his arm and all that. His arm is more than good enough for the NFL, but it's the accuracy, anticipatory, and the structure he played in convinces me a little bit more. And you know, Charles, me saying this in Miami, not popular.
I know you have to get some few people to walk with you to go to lunch, and that I'm aware of.
What am I missing? Because everybody's got camp.
I don't think you're really missing anything. So if that's blasphemous, then I guess I'm in the same camp with you in terms of how it's laid out. Everything you said about Cam Ward, and what always happens with these things is people miss the compliments. They only catch the so-called criticism or the analysis of it. Everything you said, Cam Ward has all of that. Cam Ward's story is maybe the best quarterback story in the draft. If you can go from a 0-star recruit to the number 1 pick in the entire draft, that is worthy of thunderous applause and standing ovations all over the place because he had to work to get
Baker Mayfield. It's the Baker Mayfield climb.
Baker Mayfield going from not being strongly recruited, walked on, went on, get the whole idea. There's a good number of those out there, but this is the latest one.
Yep.
When I did my first mock draft, and you know as well as I do, Big O, mock drafts are not Magna Cartas. Mock drafts are worth the paper that you print them on. You get it, right? But when I did my first one and I made Shedeur Sanders the number 1 pick in the draft going to Tennessee, it was for the reasons you talked about. Because going to Tennessee with Brian Callahan, last year he had Will Levis, right? And Will Levis, the best game he played in the NFL, I think, is burned into minds of probably Dolphins fans, right? That was it a Thursday night, a Monday night? I can't remember what it was, where he led that comeback late and was heroic in playing, et cetera, et cetera. But since that time, he plays off platform. He thinks his arm's going to get him out of everything. He doesn't make great decisions. And in the first 2 weeks of the NFL season last year, he turned 2 wins into losses with really, really bad decisions and did not handle the ball well. I kept thinking to myself, Brian Callahan, I don't know if he wants to see any more of that. I'm not saying Cam Ward is that with Levis, but style of play equals that much more than style of play with Shedeur. So that's why I made Shedeur the number 1 guy in my first mock draft. And people were like, well, I said, hold a second. Think about who Brian Callahan has coached in his career. If you go back through his career, Burrow was the latest. Before that, he had worked with Manning. He had worked with some other guys. He had worked with Goff. He had worked. Are any of those guys out of structure quarterbacks? No. They're much more in structure. And Shedeur is more in structure. Not a total statue. He can move a little bit, but that's not going to be the number 1 part of his game. So I don't think what you're saying is blasphemy, but it's very interesting because if things go the way we think next Thursday night, Tennessee has come off of that and gone much more with Cam Ward. Now, connect the dots with me, Big O.
Yeah.
Their new offense, their new general manager, Mike Borgonzi, from Kansas City.
City, yes.
Who did he help select there and watch play and develop?
Mahomes.
So Ward kind of fits that more, although I don't compare Ward to Mahomes and I don't compare Shedeur to Burrow. Right. But in style of play, that's what we're talking about. But ultimately it looks like Ward's coming off first. But I understand where you're coming from on that. And my esteemed colleague, Bucky Brooks, to this day still has Shedeur as the number 1 quarterback, Cam Ward number 2, for a lot of the reasons that you said.
By the way, they also got Reggie McKenzie, who left Miami and was here in Cam's backyard all year.
Yeah.
So, adds and I know Reggie went back to retire and kind of be a consultant because he's from that area, which is great for him and all that. But, after everything that's done,
yeah, it's a first-time GM. He's going to listen to a lot of voices early, and Reggie's will be one that he will listen to.
Yeah, well, he hit on Derek Carr, so it's not like, to me, I still say Reggie got treated unfairly in Oakland because
I'm a Vol, Big O. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Dude, he took over and didn't have a first and a second rounder in his first 2 years in the beginning of a rebuild, and still found Carr and Mack and got him to the playoffs, and just because they had a down year. And I mean, I'm so frustrated with the whole Reggie McKenzie thing. Anyway, so just looking at all of that. Okay, so it's interesting. So now we go to the Dolphins at 13.
Yeah,
help us out here, because now with the Jalen thing, Tyreek's here maybe for a year and then he's gone. At this point, now the Dolphins could draft offensive line, they can draft defensive line, they can draft corner, they can draft safety.
Bingo.
For a number 1 wide receiver, if there's one there, not that really is the number 1 option or anything, but it's just crazy how they have so many needs, Charles. So what is the strength you think of this draft at 13?
13, I still think it's in the lines. I still think it's offensive, defensive line. That's where this draft is going to kind of, I think, right itself until we see them play. And then we'll come back and talk about it 3 years later. We'll go, boy, we really missed on those receivers, didn't you? It'd be something like that, right? So that's how it always tends to play out. But I still think when you're sitting there at 13, there's a very good chance that you got a shot at a big-time defensive lineman that you like. There's a very good chance that you got a shot at a big-time offensive lineman that you like. But the flip side of all that is, if you value another position and that top player is there, will you go get him? Because I really think our old ideal of, is that too high for that guy, doesn't really work anymore. I think now is, do you like him and have conviction? Then you better go get him. Okay? Because the idea, 13's too high for the safety, I can get the safety later, then you never get your guy. And we've gone through that how many times? Remember Travis Frederick when he came out of Wisconsin and Dallas took him in the first round at center, and we all lost our mind and said, I had a 3rd round grade on him. What are you doing? He became an all-pro. Like, if you got conviction, it works. Now, there's times when people have had conviction that hasn't worked, but that's the art of drafting. That's what you're going to get into. If you like him, you go get him. What's going to be interesting to me is with Chris Greer and group, what will they value when that number comes up? And obviously some of it will play out ahead of them. But sitting there at 13, Big O, they may have the first bite of the apple at the top corner. 13, a corner may not be gone at that point. They may be able to get to that and go ahead and do it. Then you got to decide what you're liking about either edge rushers or interior guys. Is there a guy you like there? Because Mason Graham is the top guy in the interior defensive line. We know that at Michigan. But sitting there at that point, do you like Derek Harmon? Do you like Kenneth Grant? I can go on and on and on. So it's going to be a very interesting look to see what's there, because Armand Membu at 13, I don't think he's going to be there anymore. I think that's pretty much out the window.
I have a love affair there. That's the guy I wanted. That's the guy I wanted for a while, and now he's just shot up.
He got too good on you, Big O. Like he jumped. Everybody went, oh.
Jared Verse was that guy last year.
Yes.
I wanted it badly, and whatever. It's just crazy, man. But and here's the other thing that I was going to follow up with, and I think you hit it. I think they may end up going a corner or safety or something along those lines. Why? You know better than I do on this, but from what I'm asking around, this draft is actually deep at guard and defensive tackle in the 2nd round. So Miami will have real good, I'm told, really good options in the 2nd round at those positions. Is that true or untrue?
No, I think that's true. I think there's a lot of depth, offensive and defensive line. So it'd be interesting to see how people value different things in the 1st round and figure out what they're going to do. I'll just use for an example, Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman from Ohio State, guard, tackle, much more of a guard. He had to swing out to tackle because Josh Simmons got hurt this year, acquitted himself nicely, but he's really a guard. It'd be very interesting when people are sitting there staring at him. Does he end up sliding to the 2nd round because other needs are being met beforehand by other teams?
Right.
Because to me, he's a 1st-round talent all day long. But as you noted in this draft, if it's deeper somewhere else, do I come back? And I've actually talked with enough people, and I think you have too. Tell me if you have heard this. Hey, the pick that I get at 5, 6, 7, 10, if I don't take that person or if I don't get that guy, I come back at 40 and 50.
Right.
And get essentially the same guy. The guy that I didn't grab at 25, I come back at 75, 80. It's about the same guy. Now, I hate saying it that way because I feel like I'm dumping on these youngsters, and I'm not. They're all talented kids. It's just this draft is not rated as highly that way. And part of it is I think the sex appeal of the draft isn't there too. Remember, quarterbacks we're not losing sleep over, right? Wide receivers, if we're taking a receiver, are we truly getting a wide receiver 1? Or are we getting a 2 in the 1st round or the 2nd round? That's what it's come down to. The tight ends are more highly rated this year. So that's where, okay, which way are we going to go with that one? We might have a fight early in this draft on taking Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland, where people might make a move to get one of them as opposed to making a move to get a wide receiver.
So who's the best, in your eyes, who's the best player in this draft?
Travis Hunter. Because I can do whatever I want with him, offense and defense. I know I saw the report yesterday. If I don't get to play both, I'm taking my ball and going home. No, he's not. Okay.
Of course not. You know what I said? You know what I said when I saw that? I go, young man, you are now stepping into a world with, you are a young man. You're stepping into a world with grown-ass men. That have mortgages, wives, and girlfriends, and a hunger that they want to rip your head off.
Look
at Ohtani. And this is not football.
Yeah, he'll learn.
go hit and pitch. And dude, that's a labor on you. You want offense and defense in the NFL, my brother? No.
Listen, we all understand the zeal. We all understand this is what he's done his entire life. We all get that. It'd be very interesting to see who drafts him and where they play him first. Because I haven't polled the owners of the NFL, the 32 ownership groups, but I'm willing to bet that if I sat down and had a poll, that the high 20s would tell me that if we draft him, we want him to play offense first.
Wow.
Other stuff can come later. That's how they look at it. Then I talked to a Rondé Barber, who's a Hall of Famer, who knows the game as well as anyone who's ever done it.
I thought you were going to say the other way around, defense, actually, because that's where I would.
Yeah. The owners want people to score touchdowns. Okay.
Right.
They want points. That's a lot easier to sell. Okay. Rondé is talking about this kid needs technique work on the defensive side, but he has everything you're looking for. Yeah. He'll show you a play where he'll do 5 things wrong on technique-wise and knock the ball away at the end of it. 5 things wrong technique-wise, intercept the pass. So the kid's got what you're looking for. You just got to refine it. And Rondé offered a great note of caution that I've taken to heart. If you draft him and you play him on defense first, you can sprinkle in the offense easier. If you play him on offense first, it's harder to sprinkle in the defense because of technique, coverages, all those things. And 1 bust means 6 points in this league. So it's something that I've kept in mind. But I really believe owners, when they talk to their people, when they're, okay, we're going to drop Travis Hunter, offense, right?
Right.
That's what I think the ownership group's going to say first.
I'm sorry, but I'm where did he come from? Colorado? Well, I'm going to his coach. I'm going to use you like Dion, and then situationally, I'm going to whip you out as a wide receiver. Situationally, I'm going to use you as a returner because that's when I need my prime time. That's what I'm going to do with him. I'm going to use him in a Deion Sanders way because Deion Sanders cut off half the field. He's going to take away your number 1 receiver. And to me, that's even more valuable than actually turning him as a wide receiver. If you're going to shut down their number 1 wide receiver in a pass-happy league nowadays, I don't know. I seem to find that to be one hell of a weapon. And the last thing I want to do is wear him out on both ends.
And it is a heck of a weapon. I mean, it is a great weapon. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds and which side of the ball they choose for him first and then sprinkle in the other stuff because they will. And remember, he's a young man coming out of college, so he starts to mature physically where weight stays on you over the course of a season. This kid's playing 115 plays a game. Okay, he won't have to do that in the NFL. So now maybe some of that weight will stay on him as he gets stronger and he goes and adapts to the game. Oh, I didn't weigh the kid at all. I wasn't on the scales, but I'll bet you he played around 180 pounds last year. Okay, he weighed 188 at the combine. He's going to have to get a little bit stronger as he goes along, and he will. But I think he's the best player in this draft. I can do anything I want. I'll leave it with this. I've talked with NFL people who saw him as a corner, and then they just watched his wide receiver tape. And I saw others who saw him as a receiver and watched his corner tape. And all of them said the same thing. I didn't know he was that good on the other side of the ball. That's what they all said. Yeah. So that tells you what they believe in him.
He's definitely a freak. All right, so let me leave you with this because it's obviously utter failure for all of us. Who does Miami pick at 13? If you're them, who do they take after our conversation now? Who you taking? Who you think is realistic? Wow. Just realistic.
Realistically?
I want Membu, and that's not realistic anymore. So go ahead.
It doesn't feel like it's realistic, does it?
No.
I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to say whoever the top corner is that's available that Miami likes, they take there. I don't know if that's Will Johnson. I don't know if that's Jahdae Barron. I'll tell you my personal favorite, and he's been off the radar because he was hurt, is Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Crazy about him. But I don't think that he's going to go into consideration at 13.
Yeah, and I think this Jalen Ramsey thing, see, going into the draft without the Jalen Ramsey crap.
We're talking something different.
You would have been talking D and O line. Now it comes out, if they take a corner, people are going to go, well, no, they're going to need it. So it ends up working out. It ends up working out. Charles, enjoy the draft, my brother. Safe travels, my friend. And thank you, as always, for taking time for me, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Continued success, man. I'm so happy for you. You take care of yourself.
Thank you, Charles. God bless. Be good, my friend. There you go. Charles Davis, baby, from the NFL Network. Awesome. We will have Eric Galco at the top of the hour, so in 36 minutes. Eric will join us. Hope you guys enjoyed Charles. He is absolutely awesome. Sean, of course, will make it a video and all that good stuff. Remember, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Or actually on Venmo, you can also make a Solana and Chainlink donation too on Venmo. Appreciate you all out there as always. What do we got here? Christian DiMartino on Venmo. Thank you. Says the writing has been on the wall. The fact that the Dolphins were not even in the position to place a tag on Wilkins and possibly they were never bringing him back. They weren't paying him. They didn't consider him a pass rusher. So that part is not true, Christian. Says and possibly get something in return. We have overpaid everyone. They will wait until June 1st to trade Ramsey. They've made their bet. Yes. But the Wilkins thing, I said it then when it happened. They were never bringing him back. They weren't going to pay him that. It's funny because you need to pay Wilkins, since he got injured, what you pay Sealer, and you need to pay Sealer what you pay Wilkins. It's kind of the way it worked out in a twisted way. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of an odd thing. Well, what are you going to do? Anyway, and remember, we are trying to go to Kansas. We're trying to go to the Cincinnati-Miami game, reportedly, in Spain, and you can make a donation there. Use the QR code that Sean Stanley will show you, and you can make any kind of a donation to help us get to España. Por favor. What do we have? Where is the infamous Bitcoin? It's at 85,000 now. It's kind of been going between 83 something and 85. It's at 84,985 right now. So it is up a little bit. The Dow is barely up 22 points. The S&P's down 32 points. And the NASDAQ is barely down. So there you go. What do we have here? True FinFan, Charles Davis. I don't know who you were, but I'm enjoying your knowledge and will start following and listening to you. Common sense is very appreciated, good sir. There you go. All right, True FinFan. He's awesome. Good dude, too. Ian, let's see. I see Luis Benito. Maybe the QB needs a normal run game more than 2 seconds to throw. Yes, he needs like any statue, Luis. Every statue quarterback needs an offensive line, bro. Doesn't matter if you're Bob Greasy. Doesn't matter if you're Drew Brees. Doesn't matter if you're Tua or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. The guys that can't move, you need to block for them. You need to run for them. They need to have play action so they can, try to fool the defense, make the linebacker freeze him a little bit, make the safety. It cannot be. If you want, then go find the guy that can run around all over the place for you. That's it. But you have to understand what talent you have and then build around that talent. And that's where they've failed, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? We're stuck, bro. NorCal, thank you for the love on the segment. Thank you, Skylar Tipton. One-Eyed Jack, what does the front office keep bending over backwards to accommodate players that they want to leave? I'd tell Ramsey, you got paid, shut up and play. I would too. My wife was livid about that yesterday. What the hell is this? Didn't they pay him? I would tell him to shut up and play. That's it. Why? Because you don't like how things are going? No, you asked for your money too damn bad. She's right. One-Eyed Jack is right. You got to put your foot down and tell people, no, bro, I gave you your money. Screw you. Find a way to get it done. You know what I mean? And that's a problem here. Well, John Wayne, Big O, happy birthday. Happy Wednesday. We need good picks, and I'm tired of GMs overthinking, overanalyzing. We need good character dogs, if that makes sense. Give me a 4-6 dog, then a 4-1 princess. With you all the way, dude. All the way. Hello, Aquavision. Thank you, Josh, for the love on Charles Davis. He is awesome. And Corso, hold on a second. Corso, thank you for the super chat. Good luck with this one. It kept me up all night. Alice in Chains or Stone Temple Pilots. One is gone from existence. I'm going STP. I'm going STP over Alice in Chains. Slight lean. Not by much, but I'm going to go STP, slight lean. Yeah. Scott Whelan, man. What a voice. So, yeah. STP. There you go. I will tell you this. I would say that Alice in Chains has the better guitarist. I'll tell you that. Stone Temple Pilots had the better frontman because Lane was just like doped out. Actually, the guy that took over for Lane now is better than Lane. I forgot his name now. He does a really good job. I like the new frontman for Alice in Chains, actually. And I love Alice in Chains. Nothing against Alice in Chains. Obviously, it brought us, the Tannehill theme and everything, so that's important. But it's a good one. It's close. Again, nice job by you, Corso. But I'm going to go slight edge to STP. Slight edge. Not by much. Richard Crasco, thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. Very kind, very generous. Says, Big O, I listen every day for 5 to 6 years. Thank you. Thank you, Richard. That is very nice of you, sir. I appreciate you. Appreciate the love. And thank you for supporting the shit out of our show like that. That is makes me feel good, man. It's very nice. Very nice. Very nice fandango, as they say. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And we always tell you that. Why? Because we get 100% of the donation. We love the super chats on YouTube. But damn, YouTube takes 30% away, man. So, that kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying? Murias Dental, by the way, if you're looking for a great dentist, a family-oriented, the Murias family. The father, by the way, as you see him in the center, he is, let's say, an inventor and also a creator of techniques that dentists use all over the world. Murias Dental, the family, you see there the father and the 2 sons. They run each practice in Dade and in Broward, Hialeah, and Plantation. So if you live in Dade, 305-821-0231. Plantation, 954-692-6825. I've been going there for years. My wife goes there. My daughter goes there. My mother-in-law goes there. The entire family. We've been going there for years. So they are now proud sponsors. So if you're looking to keep it clean, no better way to improve that smile. Call my friends at Murias Dental, and they can help you with Invisaligns, dental implants, which my wife needed one of those, preventive care, cosmetic surgery. They do it all. And as I've said many times, very convenient, very modern, like a crown. I always love using that example. You normally go and they measure the crown, and then you have to come back a week, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later to do another appointment. Not at Murias Dental. No, they take the measurements, and then there's a machine in the back that's already creating the tooth. Within 10, 15 minutes, you have the new tooth, boom, and you're walking out with the new tooth, and you don't have to come back and waste your time. Like your time isn't valuable. Murias Dental understands that, dude. So give them a ring, Dade or Broward counties. Check them out. And, of course, mudias.dental on Instagram. Follow them so you can be eligible for prizes. All right. Haters say 2 out of clean pocket that play. I say problem is he doesn't trust the O-line. He doesn't trust his coach, bro. His coach can't even get a play in on time, which doesn't let him set up the protections at time or adjust to the defense. It's just that situation is not good for any quarter. Dude, he had Tyler Huntley, and he didn't even change the offense at the beginning. He has no idea how to handle quarterbacks. He had Skylar Thompson around him for 3 years, and he had no idea he couldn't play. I don't know how many examples I need to show about Mike McDaniel, how incompetent the guy is. Not exactly sure. He fails every quarterback he has. He doesn't help them be better. And by the way, if Skylar Thompson does anything decent in Pittsburgh, it becomes an even bigger indictment on the guy. This is a terrible coach. No quarterback has an advantage with Mike McDaniel. None. Again, it's not a Tua thing. It's a McDaniel thing. But whatever. NorCal says, love both Allison Chains and STP. Jeff Gutt, great lead for STP now, but they'll never be this. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Actually, Allison Chains recovered better than STP. So, all right, Corso, it's a two-way answer. Slight edge to STP with the original singers. Huge edge to Allison Chains with the new singers. How about that? I have no interest in seeing the new STP. Does a decent job. I saw him at Rockville a few years back. Allison Chains, I go see him every time I can with the new singer. So, slight edge with the original singers to STP. Enormous edge to Allison Chains with the new singers. Now I'm being much more, now I've clarified it a lot more. Okay, because it should be measured that way, because NorCal did a phenomenal job to remind me that he loved both, right? But Jeff Gutt, great lead for STP now, but they'll never be the same. And he does a nice job, but nobody's Scott Whelan, bro. Poor guy. I mean, obviously he had those demons and he killed himself, but the voice of Scott Whelan, shit, dude. Anyway. Average QB with great lines will win you a Super Bowl. So pick an O-line and, right, exactly. Trent Dilfer. You gave him a running game and an O-line and a defense, and he won a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning couldn't throw past 10 yards for that Denver Super Bowl. He's the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning. Yeah. Great point by Dolphin Dave. It's not Tua. Tua's fine. Tua's more than fine. Guy led the league in completion percentage. He's been in the MVP race at times with a shit coach. Okay? So Tua's fine. It's just you don't know how to build the team around him. You don't understand what talent you have and how to handle the talent. That's all. Pretty simple, dude. It's really not that difficult. Build a line and a running game and let the kid do the rest. He'll cook. But if you got to have him running for his life and he has to throw every pass under 2 seconds and he can't hand it off because the linebackers have no respect for your running game, it makes it so much harder on your quarterback. Oh, and by the way, your receivers, some may run the wrong routes, both drop balls all the time. Also doesn't help. Oh, by the way, Waddle and Tyreek not only drop balls, they have a tendency of dropping balls in key moments. Okay? Like the most important moments, that's when Tyreek and Waddle fuck it up. Doesn't help either. John Wayne, the Panthers, bro, there's nothing wrong with the Panthers are fine. Relax. We're all good. Where did he do the Tool one? No, Tool's way ahead of them now. True Fin fan, I got a question for you. John Elway or Brett Favre? Elway. Elway, dude. Elway, for sure. For sure. Elway used to lose Super Bowls and get embarrassed in Super Bowls. Super talented. Way more talented than Tua. But how do you win when Sammy Winder is your running back? Now, you win when Terrell Davis is your running back. You know? You win when you actually can run the ball, dominate on the O-line, dominate on the D-line. Wow, what a concept. Holy shit, let's see. We have John Elway. He's running around for his life. He's making all kinds of plays. We're winning some games, but every time we actually have to beat like a really good team, man, they beat us 55-10. They embarrass us. They throttle us. Elway looks like an idiot in those games. He looks terrible. Oh, he's a choker. He's a choker, that John Elway. Yeah, I know. Of course he's a choker. You know, John Elway's a choker. Some of you aren't old enough, so you don't live all this. So you have no perspective, like Trina. You know? Yeah, I know. The quarterback does it all. Sure. See Elway before. Real offensive line, real running game, real defense. Go watch Elway. Yeah, he put up a bunch of numbers, and so did Marino. He put up a bunch of numbers. Ask what happened when Marino and Elway had to play a really good team. Thoroughly embarrassed. And we're talking about super special talents, which Tua is not. Tua is not those guys. Breeze is not those guys. Okay? Those are freaks. Those come once in a lifetime. We'll never see another Marino again, at least not in my lifetime. Maybe 40, 50 years from now, you know, some other Dolphin fan will see another Marino or something, but it'll take a while. So, we froze. I just noticed it. Did we freeze a while back? I'm frozen. You know what? Let's do this. Give me a 1 minute break and let me fix the camera. Back with more.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There it is, Hialeah Park. We're going to be there tomorrow. Remember, you can get your $100 no-regret first bet. We got the Heat playing tonight. The Heat, by the way, are dogs in this game. Bulls are favored by 1. You can actually open your account. If you happen to have a Hard Rock account, don't use the same phone number or email. Use a different one. Make your bet. You'll get your $100 no-regret first bet, and you're off and running, dude. By the way, Hialeah Park is giving away $50,000 of Bitcoin at the end of the month. So you got to be present to win it. But if you go down there and you play any of the slot machines, every time you pull that handle, you get an entry. Can't beat that. Now you got to be, and the best part is that you have to be present on that Saturday night in order to win it. I tell you, that's the best part. Do you know why? Most people don't go. So actually, you have a bigger chance to win the car, the boats, the SUV, the Rolex watches. This time it's $50,000 of Bitcoin, which will easily turn to $75,000 soon. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, throwing it out there for you. Yes, sir.
I just want to let you know, I don't believe you froze. I believe whatever you were watching yourself on froze. You never froze on my end.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. All right. That's interesting. My iPad was frozen. Did I have it paused?
You may have, because now I'm looking at the comments. NorCal said not frozen here.
Okay.
He's the only one that kind of responded. But yeah, I didn't have you frozen. That's why I didn't say.
All right. Well, mistakes will be made. Plenty. Sorry. Let's see. Lenny Pena says, good morning, Big O and Sean and Heat Nation. Late to the show today, but I'm here with you all. Happy hump day. Let's talk a little Heat. First of all, let me get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar before I get to Heat and a couple Dolphin things I still have to talk about. But reach out to my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. If your company, corporation, school, you need custom printing and embroidery, uniforms, hats, shirts, whatever it is you need, please reach out to him. You can do all of that online. You can do it through Zoom and all that. 786-618-1443. Heat and Bulls tonight at 7:30. Bulls are favored by 1. The over and under is 219. Last night, the Magic advanced. They pound the Hawks 120-95. The Warriors, they got by Grizzlies and Ja Moran 121-116. The Moron, by the way, had 22 points, 5 assists, and 5 turnovers. The other Moron, Jimmy Butler, had 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Steph Curry, by the way, had 37. Tonight, Mavs and Kings at 10 o'clock after the Heat and the Bulls. Lightning beat the Panthers 5-1. Didn't mean anything. They'll start their series against the Lightning. By the way, Tampa Bay still has one more game against the Rangers, so that's good. All right. Tonight, U.S. Open Cup. Good luck to Miami FC. They're on the road taking on Indy 11. Saturday at 4:30, Inter Miami will visit Columbus. And then Saturday at 5, the ladies from the Fort Lauderdale United will visit Dallas Trinity FC. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. As for the Heat tonight, well, let's go. I mean, Bam, Bam, there's been a lot of people out there that try to defend you and say you're a star. Well, you've never played like one. You didn't play like one the last time you played against Chicago. There was a kid named Gritty. Yeah, that kid, the Gritty kid, he played like a star. So, Tyler, you going to be a star? I mean, let me go back to, can I find those stats? Here we go. Giddey, 11 of 19, super efficient. 28 points, 3 of 6 from three-point range, added 16 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. That's what a star does. Bam Adebayo needs 15 shots to make 18 points on 6 of 15. Inefficient. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, no blocks. Tyler, 13 of 26. The dude needed 26 shots to get to 30 points. That's not what a star does. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 turnovers. So Bam and Tyler, you shit the bed the last time. Josh Giddey outplayed both of you. He made both of you look like chumps. And Bam, you've made a lot of people look like chumps because they try to defend you like you're a star or a franchise player, which you're not. So for once in your life, why don't you try to play like one in a game that is a play-in game? We're not even asking for the Eastern Conference or anything. We're asking for you to show up in a stinking play-in game against a mediocre Bulls team. I mean, how low can we put the bar for Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero? And if you guys can't win this game, I suggest that Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero don't come out of their home at all for the rest of the year. Okay? That's all. I mean, do something for a change. For once. All these people that have talked shit about Tyler and talked shit about Bam, do something, bro. This is your team now. Do something. Get out of this play-in. Beat these guys and then win your next game and become the 8th seed. And if you can't do that, there's no future and no hope led by Bam and Tyler. They're nothing but supporting players. That's it. Wasn't Tyler voted like Mr. Clutch? Well, let's go, dude. Let's go. Do something for a damn change, bro. Like something significant on your own. Something you can stand on here. Get to the playoffs. Get out of the damn play. No, don't just win tonight. Win the next 2 games. Winning tonight is just a nice first step, but it's not enough. But you better win tonight. Because if you can't even win if you can't get out of the play-in, then who are you? And ownership and front office, what are you guys doing? If you can't get out of the play-in, what are you doing? Why is it that you have lowered your standards? Anyway. Thank you, Shang Tu Sheng. Nice cap. Thank you. You can get it at Caneswear, by the way. Use our code BIG010. We need a hero. Anthony Campos, next year, do you have a magic remote to fast forward brutal fall 25 season? I already told you we're 3 years away from starting the rebuild. So I don't have a lot of hope for next year either. You know what I mean? It'll be a transition type year. The most you can hope for is a couple of surprise wins, or they were good enough to sneak into the playoffs or something because some coach came in and whatever, which would be great because it could lift our spirits up. But I don't really have any hope for next year. Josh Pistol Pete Magic Giddey has killed us this year. I hope Bam and Tyler can step up to the challenge tonight. Bam, wake up, says Lenny Pena. Bam and Tyler rested last game. No excuses allowed for tonight's. They don't have any excuses anyway, bro. They get no excuses with me. Big O, do you think Ramsey pushed for another extension, and that's part of? No, dude. Jamie, he just wants out of here, bro. That's all. Ramsey wants out of here. He saw it's a disaster. He doesn't have much left in the tank. He has maybe 1 or 2 more good years. So he said, I've got to go play somewhere where I've got a chance. I don't want to be a part of this. It's the sad part, but it's the reality. Let me see. What else do I have here? Talked a little bit about that. Talked about that. There's some thought out there. Some of you think that Chris Greer and company could be safe because of the approach. And I don't believe McDaniel or Greer are safe. I don't think Greer acted like a guy that was safe yesterday. He was very nervous. He was very defeated. It was rough. It was rough. And for those of you that think that and why I disagree, you might be right. And maybe if there is a failure this year, maybe Greer survives and McDaniel doesn't, and then you guys are right. As I've told you, as much as I like Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, I don't know if they're going to be given a chance to hire their third coach. It's kind of crazy. But the one thing you're leaving out now is if you have a disastrous season, which is what I'm expecting, you have to make changes only because the optics, it's already bad optics for your fans this year. There's tons of you. You're not expecting much. The only people that are expecting anything are like the really, really hardcore diehards that can rarely ever like come to any kind of reality. And they'll lie to themselves. Again, it's those people that it's almost like they're afraid to be honest because they might find out that they're not really that hardcore of a fan or something. So they need to lie to themselves. So there's a small percentage of that. But there's a lot of you out there. Can you imagine the feeling next year? So I just don't think anybody is safe right now. I hope that Greer and McDaniel win 12 games and win a couple of playoff games. I hope we're all wrong, and I hope we're all celebrating. And, oh, my God, 2003 Marlins. Holy shit, we never saw this coming. Right? Sure, I hope that. But come on. We had the 2003 Marlins. That happens once. That's it. We shot our load. It's over. It's not going to happen with Inter. It's not going to happen with the Heat. It's hell, it almost happened with the Heat in the bubble, actually. But yet it didn't because you had the injuries. Something will happen eventually. But, I mean, those of us that sit there and, if you want to just lie to yourselves, go ahead. If your entire life is Dolphins football and that's your whole identity and that's your whole thing, that's all you live for, it's all you eat and breathe, you don't care about anything else, I feel bad for you. But, yeah, we're gonna go for a couple of rough ones here. Couple of rough ones. So, anyway. I know how the fish can be relevant again. Draft a franchise QB. I don't care about being. So what happened with the Marino years? You're never going to draft a guy better than him. Did you win anything? No. The biggest moments in Marino's career were embarrassments. Super Bowl embarrassment, following year AFC Championship game embarrassment against the Bills in the early 90s embarrassment. So I'm not sure. Shang Tu Sheng, that's very dense thinking. You don't learn a damn thing. Who gives a shit if you draft the franchise quarterback if you don't give the franchise quarterback an offensive line and a running game and a defense, i.e. Marino? I mean, some of you have to learn from the mistakes that are being made constantly. That's the Shang Tu Sheng, the fan that likes the shiny object. What did you accomplish in the Marino years? Did you accomplish anything? Oh, Dan threw 48 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. Okay, what'd you win? Nothing. How'd that Super Bowl go? Oh, man, that was a thorough embarrassment. Okay, great. Fun stats. Oh, Ricky Williams ran for 1,800 yards. Oh, great. What'd you win? Fantastic. Oh, Tyreek Hill, back-to-back 1,700 yards. Great. What'd you win? Awesome. Awesome. Oh, Jason Taylor, Defensive Player of the Year, you say. What'd you win? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. As Jabberjaw would say, gotcha. Our number 3 is next, and we hope to have the one and only Eric Galko joining us next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There he is. Yes, sir. The one and only Eric Galko, of course, Director of Football Operations and Player Personnel for the East-West Shrine game. How you doing, my friend? How is life?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, everything's great, man. It's an exciting time right now. We're a little over a week away from the NFL draft and talking with teams and our players and all that kind of stuff now. It's a fun time of year for sure.
Yeah, you're kicking ass, dude. You've taken the East-West to, another level. And so it's just, I'm really proud of you, dude. It's just you've fought your way throughout all of this for many, many years now. And it's got to be pretty satisfactory for you watching the East-West grow.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of great work by our whole team, Shriners Hospital team and our team on the scouting side, the operations side, and, try to do things, it sounds cheesy, but, take care of players in the right way, change our schedule, kind of focus on being in a best-in-class event environment. And, thankfully we've grown by draft picks every year since I've been here, hopefully. And, week and a half that continues. And we have another uptick in draft picks again this past year as well. And having guys like Shedeur Sanders be at the event doesn't hurt the awareness. But we're excited to grow. And the Shrine Bowl has been a huge passion the last 4 years for myself and our team. And we're excited to hopefully keep it going. And the goal is to be a best-in-class event. And I think we're on our way there.
And I know you might, people might say, he might be a little biased because Shedeur went to his bowl game. And I'm not blowing any smoke up your ass and all of this because, I don't do that anyways. But, and it's blasphemous what I'm about to tell you. I just told Charles Davis this. I don't know why I'm wrong, but I have Shedeur ahead of Cam. I love Cam's moxie. I love his talent. Definitely, he's physically more gifted than Shedeur. But one of the things I did not see here in Miami was structured passing, where it was a 3, a 5, a 7-step drop, where he dropped, planted, and threw. There was a lot of ad-libbing, a lot of all of that, where with Shedeur, I saw a lot of structured football. I just kind of feel he might make the transition a little better than Cam. I'm not saying that Cam's going to be terrible or anything. I just think he's going to have some trouble, a lot more trouble transitioning to the next level than Shedeur. Why am I wrong here? Because so many have Cam ahead of him.
Well, I would say this. I've got no Cam and his family the last 3 years, and I love Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward would have been a first-round pick. I think he would have been one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in last year's draft, which is this renowned class. I think 6 guys, 7 guys going the first. I think I would have taken over a lot of those guys too. So I've been a Cam supporter for a long time. I think the way Cam sees the game, his confidence, his ability to improvise, his natural feel, it's very point guardish. We say a lot about quarterbacks, but not every guy can, some point guards can run an offense. Some guys can be the offense. I think Cam can be that, right? Like a Chris Paul, like he can post up, down low. He can play from the top. Like that's what Cam Ward can really be too. I think Cam is special. And I think what happens a lot in the draft is a lot of groupthink makes, hey, Cam is 1, Shedeur is 2, and it makes the separation between those guys seem so far. And it's really not. And that happens at all positions, not just quarterback. But, there are, people in the Jacksonville Jaguars are doing one thing, and I know they're considering a lot of different things, right? Hey, everybody has Mason Graham as a top D tackle. That's not consensus, but it feels like it becomes consensus outside the NFL because people kind of share the same kind of notes too. So I think to your point, if you said Shedeur is above Cam, I think there'll be a lot of NFL teams who said on the field, they wouldn't balk at that. They may disagree, but they wouldn't be like, oh, no. But I think the perception has been there's this huge delta between the two. I think they're actually what Shedeur does when Shedeur is under pressure, working through contact, moving outside the pocket to his left and still being extremely accurate. He's better at that than Cam is. I think Cam is maybe better when it's truly a rolling out left to right, being able to be on time and be more precise and on time and not rush throws. Sometimes Cam's better there too, but they both have their own strengths and weaknesses. Gun to my head, maybe I say Cam is better in a vacuum by a small degree, but I think it depends on what your offense wants to be. So I think to your point, man, those two are the 2 best quarterbacks in this class. I think that's pretty clear. I think those 2 guys would be among the top 4 or 5 in most draft classes the last decade. I think both those guys are going to go early on Thursday night and both be very good quarterbacks in the NFL.
Is Dart the outright number 3? And tell me a little bit about Kyle McCord because, man, I like him. I don't know why, but I like him. I think he's got an arm, intelligence, and accuracy. And I think if you put him behind a team that can actually block, you might find something there. So tell me about those guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, like putting aside Cam and Shedeur, there's a much wider array of who 3 through 7 are around the league. And that's healthy. That's good. But, there are some teams that really like Jackson Dart and are bullish on his upside. I think, me personally, I think Dart would be best served for kind of a redshirt year in the NFL and really learn and digest. I think if he comes back to school at Ole Miss, maybe he is the first overall contender next year. He may be a first-round pick this year anyways. But I think Jackson Dart's a darn good player. Tyler Shuck, obviously, he's had his injury and the age stuff, but he makes some unbelievable throws. And, somebody the other day compared him that I was talking to in the league to Carson Wentz at his peak before Carson Wentz's injury. I like that comp a lot. Makes a lot of sense to me, right? And you mentioned Kyle McCord. I think Kyle McCord, and I've thought this since October, that he's the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. Wow. Him and Tyler Shuck from Louisville, the 2 guys that I've liked the most. And hey, we invited to the Shrine Bowl, Shedeur, Cam, Kyle McCord, Tyler Shuck were our 4 guys in mid-October, and that really hasn't changed. And I think the naysayers of McCord will point to, well, he's not a great athlete. It's okay. He's probably as fast as Shedeur is or Tyler Shuck is, but okay. He did have the one, 5 interception game against Pittsburgh. That was a bad game. Kyle is very self-aware. That wasn't his best game. But, man, if you play his career out and he stays at Ohio State, he's not forced out, and they won a national championship this year, Kyle McCord's a top 10 pick in the draft. He's not worse of a player. He only went to Syracuse and won 10 games at a school that has won 10 games in 3 decades, right? So I think Kyle's resume, just looking at him and kind of separating that 5 interception game and who he is, yeah, man, I'm with you. And there's a lot of people in the league that I think agree. And whether he'll be QB 3, 4, 5, 6, we'll see. But, there are 4 or 5 teams that really like him that I think the top 100 is where he's going to go. And I think that who the 3rd best quarterback is in this class 3 years from now, if you told me it's Kyle McCord, if he's 2nd best quarterback in this class, if the best quarterback in this class, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think he has that kind of talent.
Yeah. And to me, see, I when you said, it depends on what offense you put him in, that there's a lot of that when I see with Tua the issues here. Like when he came from Alabama, he came from a place that had a line, that had a running game, so he can then do his thing and pass. But here he doesn't have a running game. He doesn't have a line that gives him time. So the plays aren't even brought in on time, where he doesn't even have time to adjust against the defense or switch the play out or anything like that at times. It's not very conducive to a quarterback having success. And to me, it's so important to understand what you have. Oh, I have a running quarterback. Okay, let me try to run this kind of an offense. Okay, I have a passer, but not an athlete. Okay, let me make sure I block for the guy. That kind of stuff. And to me, that's half the game. And when I look at like Tua here, I believe you can win with the guy, but you're not going to win with the guy when there's so much dysfunction around him. You have to give him the structure he needs in order to have success.
I think it may be a better way to look at it, in my opinion, is where can this guy be successful? Like, what is going wrong that he can still be successful? As a quarterback in the NFL, you've got to make up for other players not being great, other aspects of your team, right? And there are some quarterbacks who can win without a great seam player because they can throw those tight windows and be really on time. There are some quarterbacks who, Tom Brady was great at this too. Like, hey, A-gap pressure he was okay with. He can deal with that, right? He can step out of it. And the Patriots could not invest as heavily in guard and center because he can make up for that, right? As a quarterback, you got to make up for some area. No offense is going to be perfect and have great players across the board, right? So I think as a quarterback, it's like, all right, Tua, he is able to make small windows even smaller because he can be really on time and really accurate, especially in the midfield, right? Cool. So maybe I need to have focus on the offensive line and maybe less resource allocation to receiver, right? It's those kind of things as well too. I think that's how you want to really approach building a team, is kind of prepare for the worst and where can we be bad at because our quarterback can make up for it. And that's, I think, how you can build a team successful with a quarterback. And I think for, Shedeur Sanders, it's, hey, you know what? We can allow A-gap pressure to come at him because he'll work through contact. He'll finish when people in his face do. We can maybe give up some guard center talent or, draft capital or whatever else and invest elsewhere. For Cam Ward, he's maybe better off if you have more B-gap pressure, let him step up in the pocket, or Kyle McCord, same thing too. And I think it's a lot of focus there too for all these guys. But no, I go back. I think Kyle McCord would have been one of the better quarterbacks in last year's draft too. And a team's not needing as many quarterbacks, not looking for first rounds, going to push him down a little bit. But McCord, Shuck, Dart, Milroe in the right situation with time to develop. Quinn Ewers being forgotten about, and he was hurt this entire year. Like, we're going to see at least one or two of those guys be starters as a rookie and be long-term NFL starters in this class.
Yeah, and I would imagine that one of those guys is going to be a trade bait guy. Somebody in the draft is going to pick them, even though they may not need them, but that they're going to use because, or they're picking them for somebody already in some kind of a trade. But I could see that happening. Not for the Dolphins because they're trying to save their jobs, so I don't think they're going to do that at 13. But I can see that happening with those guys. All right, so Dolphins at 13, Eric. What is realistic? I love Membu, but apparently my boy is going to be gone by then. So, and now with the Ramsey thing, do you go corner? Do you go safety because guard and defensive tackle is plentiful and you might be able to get one in the second round?
I think for the Dolphins, I'm a little more optimistic. I think that's something I've seen online about the depth of their talent, but I think they need to get a couple more feature guys in the D tackle spot, the corner spot, and maybe receiver if there's some Tyreek Hill issues, whatever the case may be too. But I think for them, this draft sets up that they will likely have a really good defensive tackle, a really good corner, maybe a really good receiver available for them, maybe one of the better guard tackles available to guys like Kelvin Banks or whoever else it may be, or Josh Simmons. They want to go him at 13, and he's going to go in the teens or 20s anyways. But I think, man, seeing Will Johnson go there and replace Jalen Ramsey would be an awesome fit for Miami. D tackle, there's some depth, but Michael Williams at Georgia, if he's still there, he's going to be a heck of a player, and he might be the pick at 13 as well too. And then people have kind of diminished Josh Simmons or Kelvin Banks because of injury or whatever else. And those guys are really good 10-year NFL players. And I think if Miami wants to address the offensive line, I love Pat Paul. Still talk to Pat Paul pretty frequently. He's my guy. And he's their left tackle for now. And he'll have to earn that job. But they're going to have some really good opportunities. And if it was me, man, if I can get a Will Johnson or Michael Williams, like those guys are in a different world, they're going top 5 in the draft. Getting those guys at 13 would be pretty awesome.
All right, in the second round, where the Dolphins pick, what are the better positions at that part?
Well, Common Cord be an option. No, but besides quarterback, I think D tackle is going to be a pretty prime spot in the early second round. It's looking like 3, maybe 4 go in the first, but we'll see 5 or 6 go in the second, and 4 or 5 more go on day, in round 3, then part of day 2. So I think if that's going to be a really big need, which, again, I'm not a Dolphins expert necessarily, mentioned maybe you are, but I know it's a need for them. There are going to be a lot of great players, whether it's a Walter Nolan or a Ty Robinson or a Josh Farmer at Florida State. Like, that early second round will be a lot of good value too. And, it feels like the top 50, 55 picks are going to be really strong. And I know people always want to say in the draft, let's trade back, get more picks. That sounds awesome. Your 6th round pick you're getting might not be good anyways. Just take the best player you can. And I think if the Dolphins leave a draft with, Will Johnson and Walter Nolan, man, you can look back and be like, we got 2 top 10 picks in our first 2 round picks. So I think going corner and D tackle make a lot of sense, but offensive line is not going to be as deep in round 2, round 3. If that's a need for them too, you can't ignore needs when you have a need like that too. So, they'll have a lot of tackle options there in round 2.
Eric Galko joining us, Director of Football Operations and Player Personnel for the East-West Shrine Game. And, something up your alley, man, the third day of the draft. You're going to know about a bunch of these guys. Give me 2 guys you're super excited about that people may have not been talking about. It doesn't matter what position it is. Give me 2 guys that Eric Galko loves in the third day.
On day 3?
Yeah, day 3.
Yeah. I might take my kids here. Jalen Conyers, tight end from Texas Tech. Really, really athletic. Again, I say this often too, but it's a good way to think about, players and their abilities. He was a top recruit at Arizona State, kind of fell out of fit with the coaching staff, goes to Texas Tech. Good fit, not a great fit, but this guy is a first, second round talent. Showed that at the NFL Combine. Tight end from Texas Tech, Jalen Conyers, a guy that if the Dolphins want a tight end, or anybody wants a tight end, late day 2, early day 3, he'd be tough to really pass on. 2 speed guys, Dante Thornton of Tennessee and Jimmy Horn of Colorado. I think Dante Thornton will probably go late day 2, but if he's there in early round 4 and day 3 of the draft, I know Miami likes speed at receiver. He's one of the fastest guys in this class at 6'4", 215. And then Jimmy Horn of Colorado, I don't care what his 40 time was. He's hit 23 miles an hour on a GPS. That's pretty rare. And he's one of the best downfield players, receiver in this draft class. And then Kobe Bryant, corner at at Kansas. One of the best man corners, if not the, one of the best man corners in this draft. I'll hesitate to say one of the best, if not the best, but feisty, talented, trash talker, confident, been productive in college too. When he feels like he might slip to the third day of the draft, despite being a plug and play starter in a man defense. So those are my 3 or 4 guys I like a lot on early day 3 that shouldn't last too long there in the 4th round, but it'd be damn good players in the NFL.
So what you got planned for the East-West Shrine this year coming up, or next year coming up?
Yeah, working now and talking to some players for next year already and spreading the good word what the Shrine Bowl is all about. But we're excited to, we had a great experience in Dallas the last 2 years and aiming to stay there for the future. And, the goal here is to keep expanding as an event, keep having better and better players. Hopefully, people like yourself and people in the major media keep experiencing what we do. And I think we take care of our media, NFL teams, players in a great way. And, the better players we have, the more first-round guys like Shadur Sanders, the more it provides an opportunity to provide awareness for the hospital and what Shriner Children's does worldwide and certainly nationwide too. So it's a huge passion of ours to make sure that we're telling people about the good word of what we're doing at the Shrine Bowl. To players can speak about their experiences, agents, media, NFL clubs, all kind of had a chance to experience it the last couple of years, and we're excited to keep growing and make sure this event is the best all-star game and a best-in-class event for the future.
And by the way, it looks like now. It looks like Cristobal is really picking up that recruiting, and it looks like this year the U is going to have quite a few players like they haven't had in a while. I think Mark is starting to bring them back now and get more Canes in the draft. And at the
they're going to have probably 7-8 draft picks this year, maybe more if it's a good year as well. And Carson Beck next year, among many others. I was there on campus last summer. I'll be there again this summer as well to see the players, talk to Coach Cristobal, and talk to their staff as well too. And I remember last year being like, that guy's a sophomore, that hasn't played yet. You got Mawanoa at left tackle, he's going to be a guy. So, no, they're going to have they'll probably have 15, 16, 17 draft picks across this year and next year. That's a pretty damn good rebuild for a program that desperately needed it.
By the way, no more moving for the East-West Shrine. We got to keep it somewhere for a while now. We good?
That's the plan. We love Dallas. We're hopefully going to finalize something here soon too. But the Dallas Cowboys, the Jones family has been great to us, and we're hoping to stay in Dallas a bit longer for sure.
Yeah, it's centralized, and that's a great town to do it in. So I hope you guys have a ton of success there for a long time. You're doing an awesome job, dude. And as always, Eric, I appreciate the friendship over the years. Thank you for taking some time and giving Dolphins a little knowledge. Appreciate you. And hopefully I'll see you next year, my man. Visit you guys.
Yes, sir.
You got
Thanks,
it.
buddy. Appreciate the time, man.
You got it. Eric Galco, Director of Player Personnel and Director of Football Operations for the East-West Shrine game and Optimum Scouting, too. So I've known Eric for a long, long time, man. Watch him grow up in this business and do a great job. Good stuff. There you go. You got a couple of draft conversations. Let's see. Lenny Pena, why are the Dolphins making it seem like it's mutual when it's clear? Bro, of course it's not mutual. And does he really have a bunch of leaders? No. Is Tyreek a leader? No. It's just hard to be truthful about anything right now. When Furonis, and props to him, he asked, hey, is this a reset or whatever? Oh, well, we haven't talked. Come on, man. They've lost all these people. This team has taken a couple steps back from where it was. Who are we kidding here? You know what I'm saying? I just can't do that to you guys. So it sucks. It just sucks. For us as Dolphin fans, it sucks that we have to go through this again. Terrible. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date, April 16th. Chance the Rapper. He was born in 1993 on this date. Akon, 1973. Aluan Thiam, also known as Akon, born in 1973. Selena, the late Selena Quintanilla Perez, the Mexican singer who, of course, died in 1995. Wow, it's been that long? Holy crap. Anyway, born in 1971. Dave Printer, songwriter, singer with Soul Asylum, born in 1964. Jason Sheff, from 85 to 2016, was a bassist and singer with Chicago, born in 62. Steven Singleton, saxophonist with ABC. Jerry Rafferty. Love it. I love Baker Street. Oh, winding your way down in Baker Street. Oh, I love it. Anyway, Jerry Rafferty was born in this state in 47. We lost him in 2011. Rest in peace. Dusty Springfield, the singer, born on this date in 1939. Bobby Vinton, for those of you that are a little older, singer-songwriter, born in 1935. And that is it for musicians born on this date. All right, let's go with other famous people born on this date. Charlie Chaplin was born on this date in 1889. Musician Harry Mancini, 1924. Pope Benedict, 1927. Dick Night Train Lane, Hall of Famer, 1927. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Was born in 47. He's 78. Bill Belichick, born in 52. He's 73 today. Ellen Barkin, born in 54. She's 71. John Cryer, actor, born in 65. He's 60. Martin Lawrence, born in 65. He's 60. Actor Peter Billingsley, born in 71. He's 54. Gina Carano, MMA fighter, born in 82. She's 43. Who else? And that is it for famous people. Sean Stanley, sir, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir, we do. Delmi Exo was born on this date in 94. She's 31. WWE Hall of Famer George the Animal Steele was born on this date in 1937. Sadly, we lost him in 2017. Joe Deering turns 43. Mia Yim is 36. Paul London, he is 45. And the great Vicky Guerrero, she turns 57 today on April 16th, 2025.
All right. Love it. Let's give you what happened in music history, right? We do that all the time. April 16th, what happened in music history? We start off in 93, where David Lee Roth was busted by the police after allegedly buying a $10 bag of marijuana in New York's Washington Square Park. In 64, the Rolling Stones' self-titled album came out in the UK. 2 weeks later, it would top the British charts. In 95, Bob Seger became a dad again when his wife gave birth to their first daughter. They named her Samantha Char. In 72, ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, made their debut at London's The Fox and Greyhound. Did they take the last train to London to get there? In 2005, in a poll by UK TV station Channel 4, Radiohead's OK Computer was voted the best album of all time. U2 took second place with The Joshua Tree, followed by Nirvana's Nevermind. I would pick Unforgettable Fire over Joshua Tree, and I would pick War over Unforgettable Fire and Joshua Tree. But that's just me picking it over the tree. What can I tell you? That's where we stand. Okay. What else do we have? AC/DC, by the way, played their second show. Can't wait to see them in Tampa. They did not change one bit. A little tip for you all out there, if you're going to the AC/DC concerts or any of them, go to their website. They sell the merch there. And whatever city they're in, they're selling the special shirt for that city ahead of time. So just in case, if you're, I don't know, just an example, in Atlanta or in Tampa where I'm going to be, and you're like, dude, I want to get the AC/DC Tampa shirt because that's the one I'm going to, or Los Angeles or Houston, you can actually order it online before you even go to the show. I believe the day before or 2 days before the show, they're already selling the show shirt. This way, those of you that are experienced at this bullshit, as you all know, they only have a limited number of shirts at the live event. So sometimes they run out and then you didn't get the limited edition shirt for it. So, little tip for you all, you can get it. Okay. Oh, by the way, I should have my Struts tickets too. I'll be there August 26th at the Hard Rock in Orlando for the Struts and Dirty Honey. Love it. Taking the wife. So she loves both the Struts and Dirty Honey. I've turned her completely on to Dirty Honey. So looking forward to that. Okay. Brian says AC/DC tomorrow at the Rose Bowl. Well, Brian, you can go on to the AC/DC site right now. Okay. So if they're at the Rose Bowl, here, let me see. I'll tell you right now. I'll show it to you. Okay, let's see. Where's the AC/DC site? Here's the official site. Now let's go to the merch, the store, as they like to put there. Shop now. Oh, no, there. Oh, damn it. Okay. So, okay. Well, there you go. So as you can see, the Dallas one that they were at, you can still get it. Right? It's Dallas, and then what's the other one? Oh, in Minneapolis. Now, the Pasadena one is next. You see how it's blank? And that must be, you must be still a couple of days out from that one. Let me see. Let me see where you're at. Yeah, the Pasadena is the 18th. So we're still 2 days away. By tomorrow, that Pasadena shirt should be up. So for those of you that live in Southern Cal and you're going to that concert and you want to get the Pasadena one, it has the Vancouver after, Vegas, Detroit, Foxborough, Pittsburgh, Landover, and then Tampa. So I will buy my Tampa shirt ahead of time. That way I don't make the line. That way I don't risk running out. I get my shirt and I'm done. Love it. So just a little tip for you all out there. If you're a music aficionado and you love doing silly shit like that, like I do, there you go. What else do we have? They are having pop-up stores. Yes, they do. But again, you never know, dude. They run out and you get to the pop-up store too late or whatever. Or for me, now I'm going to order it online. I don't need all the shirts pretty much. Well, not all, but most of the ones at the pop-up store are there. So you'll order it now, especially the city one. And that way it's no pressure. Now I can go into the pop-up store. And if there's anything else that I like, I'll buy it. But at least I know the Tampa shirt, I'm already going to have it, which is cool. Let's see. Oh, you're 100% right. The Fish have no identity and culture. Winning teams do what you said. Fish don't get it. Yeah. It's just kind of the way it goes, unfortunately, man. We're stuck in this position. I love you all out there, man. You think I want to tell you that it's going to be a bad season? No. But I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. That's not. Please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Don't forget to visit our amazing sponsors. We've got great sponsors out there, so please visit them. Take care of them. They take care of us in a big-time way. So go visit Cutter's Edge Pro or Sloman's Home Shield, R&M Contractors and Custom Drywall. Ray and Mike do amazing work. Remember, you can make a donation to the show at any time, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Also Solana and Chainlink too. So you can do that. And you can make a donation through PayPal also anywhere in the world. Thank you on the Super Chat, Jarrell Exposito. I just saw it right now. Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you. Big O, I still like Chris Greer as a GM. That being said, I don't think he sticks around for the next rebuild. But then again, how many GMs really do besides the ones that haven't failed on their previous attempt? Yeah. He really could have taken advantage of this. Unfortunately, the wrong coaches and whatever. It's been talked about. I love you all out there. Thank you for supporting us, clicking the like button, donation, visiting our sponsors. We appreciate it. We shall see you tomorrow afternoon at 3:00 at Hialeah Park. And we thank the great Sean Stanley. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.